Mr. Felix, I'm trying to wait for the rest.
Okay, sir.
Sir. Okay, I believe we are, you can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me continue with what we are trying to solve. So while this in that generate random else, um, okay, so let me, when it's done with that, then return generated math number. So mm, mm, copy this, then one generated math number, that return number plus that again, then return it. Okay, so okay, 91 is done that, then I will explain some of these things as very soon. I don't intend taking us this far, but someone raised a question, and I think it's opportunity to brush up on some few things. So I will explain the thing. Okay, and done that. Okay, so let me explain. I'm trying to do what he talked about. So let's increase our data attributes. Let me add their department. Let me add their department. So let's collect people's department. So that will be, there's a DPT. Then I will store it self.dpt equals DPT. So now that means when I'm creating each of these objects, I need to pass in their department. So let me say EEE, EEE, and this to be, let's say CSP. Okay. So irrespective of department now, at least we just want the number to be different. So at this point, let me just do it the way Footer will do it. Let me add, that will be self dot dpt, that's their department, plus there is always a slash. So slash plus what again? Okay, let me not add the year of a thing for now. Let's just put only their department slash whichever number it is. So let me do it this way and say real. Okay, let me now say self dot math num is now equal to what I have here. Then what am I appending? I'm appending self dot math number. Okay, we explain what we have here, then it does not need to generate, does not need to return anything. Now, let me explain this matrix norm generator. Now, this is a function like every other functions we can see inside our class. Now, if you look at this first line, all I'm just doing is I'm making use of a module. We explained module last week, of a module called random. And I explained module to be like code written by some set of people. Like it's already existing on our package. We just need to import them. And we learned last week how we can make module for ourselves. And I explained that it's just all about having some set of functions in a file. So when you want to use any of those functions, just import the name of the file, then you have access to all the functions. So in this case now we imported the module called random, and we want to use the function rand int. So to be able to get any random integer between 1000 and 999. So now doing this now gives us a random value, and I store the value inside generated math num. Now you see the next line. Next line says while generated math number in. So now if you look up, I created an empty list up here, footer matric norms. So at the beginning, maybe at the creation of the school, there is no any matric number. So now, it's generated a number here, but I want to be sure, oh, okay. I want to be sure if that number already exists in footer matric norms. I'm coming. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, let me have. So if that um if that number already exists in that, so what I'm doing is, while the random number I just generated, so far it is found inside the list of the numbers that have been generated before. Redo it again. So now I explain what while, the way while is, it runs like an endless loop. It will keep happening until the condition you've given to it is not being fulfilled. So it will continue to help us generate any random value so far that number is not in the footer matric number list of the matric numbers we already have. So now, so far it's not there, it will regenerate it again to regenerate. So if it has gotten to a point where, okay, it can be found in the list here, then it gets out of the whole while loop. Then what I did in line 15 was that, we've created data variables for this class, and we created matric num now. So maybe we entered with one just funny matric num 444. So with this now, this will overwrite the matric number. So we are changing the matric number of this of such kind of student, and we are adding the department plus slash. Now we are doing EE slash the generated number as the number that we just generated, and we are now appending, we are adding to the existing numbers that footer has in its database. We are adding it, we are adding the just created one now, we are adding it again, so that in case any new students now wants to generate matric number again, it will first check so that we won't have double matric number. So as it is now, the first thing we did was that we used the function details merger, which Mr. Stephen um, um, desired that we do. So after we've merged the student details, I want us to generate matric number. Let's say for this four students now. So let me, for the first student now. So now, as you can see, the matric num generator is a function that returns nothing. So we've explained for some weeks now the various functions. There's some functions that they don't return anything. There are functions that return stuff. There are functions that all they do is just do something. Like this function now is just doing something, it's not returning anything. So we just need to call it. We don't need to collect any value from it. So by doing that, so for student one now, so like I explained that when you make an object from a class, it has its own, just like when you have, it has its own photocopy of the original. So and it does not interfere with any other. So when we created an object for the first student now, I can decide to generate matric number for the first student and decide not to generate for the second student. So but for the two students, let's generate matric number for them before we now print out their details. So let me do that. So I will do that by doing std1 dot matric num generator. um I'm afraid of that while loop I put there. So let's just continue. So by just doing that now, that will just call the first. So for the students too also, all I just need to do is student just use the object I did for it. So let me run this. I'm afraid of endless loop, but let's run it. uh let's see what we have. Okay, okay, we have an issue here. Okay, so the same issue now. Here I was trying to add concatenate department with a number here, so I need to cast this number here, str. So I was okay, it was not, it was another set of people I was explaining to that you need to learn the art of debugging. As it's a practice that nobody will teach you. You have to learn it. That's why you have to practice, because if you don't practice, there's no way you can be familiar with some errors. Like I just look at my screen now and I realized the thing didn't run, and I already saw the hint there and where the issue can actually be. So it may be more complicating than this, but as you practice, you will know, oh, mo ti really rí, and this will be what would have happened. So nobody will actually teach us that it's in the course of trying and failing, try and failing that we gather that experience. So now if I run this again now, I don't think I should have any issue. So running this again. Okay. Now, beautiful. I don't know if you are seeing what I'm seeing. Now,
Yes, I
um,
can see it, sir.
yeah, if you look at something, the student, the first student, Ayomide, we gave it matric number 4444. But although that was what we gave it, but we generated a matric number for it. Now that changed its attribute completely. You can see its matric number has changed to EE because while we are generating matric num generator, we altered self.mathNum. So it will overwrite what the guy came in with. So if you look at the same thing also for Kolawole entered with 3254, just one random number, but we generated 2311. And so if we have another student now, let me just copy this and let me paste it also. So for student 3 now, and let me just change the student 3 and student 3. So and let me run everything again. So we can see student 3, what's his name? Okay, let me change his name to Yomi. So let me run again. So yeah, you can see the random details. So we can press further and do some other stunts, like maybe we want to add the year they came in and all that and all that. Just like I saw in one of the solutions that one of us put online, you can you can you can subtract the present year from the year the person came in, and you can do all manner of things. So but with the concept of class and objects now, it makes things so simple and like less stressful. What will have taken us so much, like now imagine if you want to be generating. Now that's why I took enough time on function. Imagine if you want to be generating matric number for every student. That would be too tedious. So with just function, all I just need to do is just call that function for any of the students wherever I need it. So this is just that here. So I want to use the rest of this section to welcome question, any kind of question, because if we go deeper than this, if we go further than this, and by God's grace, by next week we'll start going deeper, it may be too difficult to look back. So I want to welcome any form of question at this point. Any question from us?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir. I have a question.
okay,
When I was doing a test. Okay, if I want to prompt a user to input their details,
okay,
so in that I was getting an error when I was trying to do the one I made use of during the assignment. I made use of true, false. Initially, that one I put input your details there, the details I wanted to input there, the assignment I'm referring to.
okay,
Yeah. The one I used true and false. Initially, what I was trying to do was I was prompting them that they should input it. So I was trying to do the code. But when I was trying to when I created a function for it, and I was like, okay, oh, the example we made use of during the last class when you were saying protest is equals to true and protest is equals to false. That one, that if the user to prompt in this thing, what would be the result? So I was trying to make use of Akure as an example, that if the user should input Akure, that it should prompt it that, okay, oh, you are from the school is from Akure, but if the user did not prompt it, it should show an error. So how can we use the prompt in this type of case to require an information from someone?
okay. Let's apply that to what we have here. Let's assume we don't want to just enter dummy details like this. Let's assume we want to collect, let's say, okay, let's do something. Let's do something. And okay, I had no intent to go this far, but let's do something very, very sweet. Now, let's assume we are dealing with five students. We are dealing with five students, like we don't know them from Adam. Like, now, outside my class, I can create a for loop and say for maybe for each student, so let's say five students. So for each student in range, let me just do three students for now. Range 1, 6, then my column. So now I want to collect every of these details now. Just watch what I will do. So what I will do is let me say okay, now I don't want to take us too far. Okay, let me say name equals, oh, okay, then let me use loop. Okay, let me use loop. Name equals input. Now, if I want to collect anything, I'll do input, then please enter your name. Please enter your name, student. So maybe student one or so. So I have my L string here. Student, student. So the rest as after the name. Okay, let me scrap matric number for now. Let the matric number be generated for them. I don't need to be asking them for matric number. So let me just remove that from the constructor. Let me remove that from the constructor. So I'll remove that from the constructor. That means this will go, this will also go. So after the name, I want to collect their age. So that will be age. Then please enter the name. Okay, the name, enter the name of student, maybe student one. Then enter age of maybe students one. Then The next thing to collect is their phone number. And the last thing is the department. So enter the phone number, and enter the department. Okay, so I haven't done that. So this is phone number, and this is department. So now I've collected now. I don't forget the concept of loop. So we are still holding on to the concept of loop. So but now if you take note, my age should be an integer. So let me cast it. That'll be int, then cast the float, int float, and so let me cast it. Then phone number is still remaining the way it is. So now it will collect. Now what is happening is, now you can forget about what is done here, but what is happening here is I'm going 5 times. So for the first time, it will collect the name of the first student. It will say, please enter the name of student 1. After that, it will ask, please enter the age of student 1. After that, it will please enter the phone number of student. So now, when it's done doing that, you know what I will do? I will create an object, and I will do it this way. I will say new student create. I will just say new student. New student equals, now I want to create an object from that class now, from a typical student now. So for every student now, I want to create a template for it. Like I want to just create a student. So I will say student. So, and according to my function, to my class, and I call a student, I need to give it a name. So in this case, I've already collected the name. So the name will be the variable name. Then I need to, the next thing is the age. So if you look at it, name, age, phone number, department. So age. So I'll pass the age I've collected. Then the next thing is the phone number. I'll pass the phone number I've collected. Then the last thing is the department, and I'll pass the department I've collected. So I'll pass that. So by doing this now, I've done, it will come and execute what we have here. So for every student now, I want to quickly generate matric number for the student. So I will just do, for that new student is creating, I will just do new student dot matric number generator. So it will generate for that particular student. So, and when it's done generating, I want it to print out the details immediately. So I'll just immediately print details measure. I'll call that function. So as you can see now, I need to use the objects to call that function. So I'll be new student dot. Now, take note of something very funny. With that now, I don't need all this. Imagine, with this now, with just what I've done now, I will be able to capture 5
Yes,
students
sir.
conveniently. So now, assuming if I have, maybe I have a database system, assuming I have a database system, I'm relating with a database system, maybe as I'm creating each student, I can just be saving each student as I've creating it as an object, saving it in the database, and I have it in the database. And it's as sweet as that. So let's run this. And okay, to be too long for me to be typing for 6 students, let me just do for 3 students. Let me do 3. Let me do 3 students. So that's 1 to 4. Let me run. Okay, so as you can see now, the first thing is asking me enter the name of student 1. So Olawumi Abayomi. Enter the age of student 1, 56. Enter phone number of student 1, blah blah blah. Enter department of student 1, EEE. No, so as you can see now, it printed out, so it has gone ahead to generate matric number. It has gone ahead it has done wonders. So this it's asking me for the second student now. So if you take note, everything I'm still inside the loop. Oh. So I've moved now. So it is done with the first student now. It has done all this. It has moved to the next student. So it's asking me for student two now. Each student is now become two. So student two is now maybe Kolawole Oluwaseyi. So the age 76, the phone number, blah, blah, blah. Then department, AGE. So as you can see, oh, I've made a mistake or something. But as you can see, it printed it for the second one. So for the other student, I went and added wrote three there. Okay, I didn't give the person any name. I just put that was not true error. So age 90, phone number, blah, 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 department, IDD. So as you can, I didn't give the third student name. So it's just as so you can just see what creating object and all that has just easily addressed for us. So I don't know if there's any other question. I never intend taking us this very deep, but I believe that from having done this together, although it's a bit looking a bit too technical, but I believe we're able to pick something, and I will still explain the other example I've prepared in my heart for to further explain the concept of class and object. But is there any question at this point about class and object now?
No, sir. No, sir. Thank you very much, sir. It's
Mr.
well understood.
Felix, any question? Mr. FM, Brosuju,
No question, sir. No question, sir.
Mr. FM.
None, sir. Please help us drop the link in the group for this recording.
Okay, the recordings.
Yes.
Okay, thank God I'm recording. Okay. Now, let's do another example, which is going to be very, very not as won't go too far like this. Very basic, just to see further explain the concept of object and class. So we would also do class and object on Saturday also. So the more you study, the more you come across things, the more you learn. So I want to encourage us that we don't just wait for the class to come. Take up challenge and practice. We have sent book, we sent book like 2 books, and there are many channels I'm sharing on the platform. So like I never had anybody to follow me up like this. I have to be very sincere with us. Like I self-learned, like I learned this thing myself, and nobody followed me up. And talk less of some of us that are even paying, and like I'm even chasing majority of us. And my chasing is not maybe because of money whatsoever. No, but I really desire, that's just my joy, that we get something substantial from this. At least at the end of all this, we can call ourselves data scientists and we know what we are doing. So I want to explain it also in a very, very simple form also, and re-explain what I've explained. Now, the concept of class and object. Now, you have a standard, you have a blueprint, and you want to make out you want to make out samples from that template. You want to make out samples from that blueprint you have. You want to make out photocopies from the original you have. And that's what class and object is. Before you come up with a full-fledged body, there must be a framework. And imagine a finger without a bone inside. That finger cannot strive because it does not have a framework. So whatever framework we give in is what is the shape the objects take, and the objects now don't contradict themselves. So let's look at a very basic example, and we'll create a class called person. That's a class called person. So That's it, what the class is. So now a person a person should have a name, a person should have an address, a person should have sex, and so on. So and should have gender. Then what else should a person have? A person can decide to um, um, okay, let's leave it basic like that. So now I've created a class now called person now. Now, if I want to create an object from this class now, all I just have to do is okay, maybe we have 10 minutes. I'm going to make it quite snappy. Maybe Mr. Felix now. So I can say Felix. Mr. Felix is a person. So so I'll make him an object of from that class. So I'll just say Felix equals person. So by just doing this now, I've made Felix an object from that class now. So now I want, okay, I can say okay, Felix dot name. I'll give it a name. Felix dot name equals maybe Felix. So I can be doing that. I can be doing all that and all that, but it's quite tedious. So we came up with the concept of constructor. That is a method that when as soon as you create an object, which is what I did in line 5, is a function that is called automatically. So, and we create this function by using def underscore underscore init, then underscore underscore, then self. So when you create a function in a class, it's sure you put self inside for, so then the full column. So now I can decide to say okay, self dot name. Instead of this guy creating his name outside this class, let me help him now. At least a typical person should have a name, so I can undo that as a framework. So I can decide to do that. So that means I can decide to add this here. When I add this name here, that means when you are creating this object called person, you must pass in that argument called name. So in this case now, I can pass in Felix. So now, by just doing that now, so that means at this point now, when the person passes in Felix, then I want to store that Felix as a data attribute. Let's take note of the keywords I'm using of a data attribute. So name. So maybe there are some other things, maybe age. Then I want to have the age also as a data attribute. I can have self.age, then age. So that means when I'm creating this object, I need to pass the age also, following the rule I've made here. So that means Felix, I also need to pass the age. So I can pass 45. So now anywhere I'm going, I can decide to create another human being from that person. I can say Yomi. So Yomi is a person. So create an object of Yomi. So the class and the constructor have said that okay, when you are creating an object from this class, you need to pass in the name and the age. So my name is Abayomi, and my age is 98. So now I can go anywhere. Okay, Mr. Felix, what do you say your name is again? Okay, then I want to respond. I can say print. Okay, my name. Okay, I'm an object called Felix, but you want to know my name? Yeah, my name data attributes. So my name dot. So I can just do that. So when I run this, you see Mr. Felix name on the output. So you can see Felix. So with the object, I can have access to the functions, the data attribute inside the class, and it does not contradict. Maybe the man just woke up, oh, object Yomi. Yeah, now object Yomi, what do you say your name is also? So, oh, my name, sir, my name is Yomi dot name now. So it will go into it, and when I run this now, you will see Felix and Abayomi. So now they never interfered with one another at all. They are different. It's a photocopy, it's a duplicate. They don't contradict themselves. And that's the concept of object and class. So I can have functions right inside this class. I can say, okay, def pre, okay, nickname giver. Let me say nickname giver. Nickname giver. So this object just give someone's nickname, and okay, let me assume that this function, you need to give it something for it to know what to work with. So maybe it's the manager that will just say, I love cats or something. Let's just say, okay, let me use the word int now. The attribute is, so I'll just say, okay, now let me also say, okay, let me do that here. For every, so when I call the function nickname giver, when I say self, I'll just say self.nickname. So any object, we have to take in also that added attribute. So we just be equal to the person's name. So I will add the int the manager is giving me plus now the person's name dot, okay, the person's name now. So starting from the first word to the fifth word now. So now it will, I want you to, okay, that's that now. So now if I want to do that now, so I can, okay, Felix, let me generate the Felix nickname now. So Felix nickname giver. So as you can know, the nickname giver, I need to give it a name. So let me call it book. Let me add book to it. So then let me also do nickname giver for your nickname giver. Dot nickname giver. Then let me give it int. Int is food. Okay, so now what I've done is, as you can see, Felix was the object. I use Felix as the object to call the function here now. So Felix is the object. So with the object, I have access to anything. So far, I've created the instance of it from here. So now I called the function nickname giver and all that. So it has given that nickname. But as you can see, if I run it, nothing will be seen on the output. It has just done its job, but I've not told it to print anything. So maybe now, okay, the manager has now said, okay, what's the nickname the system gave you, Mr. Felix? Okay, Felix.nickname. So I'll just ask it to print it out. So print Felix.nickname. Then I can say print also Yomi.nickname. So let's print this out, and that will be the last thing for today. So as you can see, book Felix, food Abayo, very interesting and fascinating. So that's just much more clarity on the concept of class and object. I don't know if there's any question. We have just 2 more minutes. Any question? Any questions, sirs?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. Mr. Felix, any question? Mr. Femi?
Yes, sir, there's no question, sir. No question. At all. At all, sir.
FM, no, any question, bro? Should you?
Well
I'm
done,
good.
sir.
Yes, sir. FM, any question?
I'm good, bro.
Huh?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. So we'll call it a night from here. And as we requested, I will upload the 2 videos to the YouTube channel and send the link as soon as possible. So the materials that will help us, they were those things I sent after the last class. Please, they were those things I sent after the last class. Let's ensure we go and check them for more clarity. And on Saturday, we'll also be playing around some examples that we establish our understanding of class and object. Thank you so much. See us on WhatsApp. Good night, sirs.